we're going to be doing a fair bit more energy work this morning to catch up and some different stuff. I've found that some of the exercises and that I do, I can't really teach them until the third day because it has too many adverse results. It becomes predictable. If I do this too early in the piece, I'm going to get, 2 or 3 people in the class having problems and that, which, just taking it a little bit slower, you avoid those things. And, so one of the first workshop I did, which is the first big live experiment with the energy work on groups of people in 60 people. This is when I discovered the relationship between core images, the trauma memories we have inside of us, that they actually exist in a physical place in the body. Now, massage therapists and that know this when they work with people. When they work on a particular area of the body, they'll touch something, and all of a sudden the person will have they'll burst into tears and cry and emote because they've touched something in the physical body. But now, according to modern science, of course, memories don't exist in the physical body. But in practice, you find that they do actually live in different parts of the physical body. And calling it a core image is a term for an area of discord that contains negative emotions and energies inside your body. And when I was doing a particular action, which we'll do this morning, it was a slicing action with the group. And what that is basically is using body awareness. And I was starting at the base of the spine here and getting people to imagine like a disc of energy slicing through the whole body this way and raising up and down. Every time you go through, you raise it a millimetre, and you thoroughly work your way up through the body. And I had halfway through one session, the first session on this, I had 3 people have a complete meltdown. 2 in the room, 1 ran off into the woods, so I had to send somebody after her. She was hysterical. And one lady who wanted to share, the other people didn't want to share. It was personal. She was an advanced bodywork shiatsu therapist in UK, and lovely lady. Now, she released a core image in the base centre and in the heart centre, and they're both different. Now, in her, the first one was her heart centre here, and it's very, very sad, and she told us this, and I was, kudos to her for sharing. And the memory, which was a lost memory, which is completely out of her psyche, and this memory came back. She always makes me cry to tell her this one, is she's 5 years old, and she's hanging upside down in a smoking wreck, trying to wake her mother up, who's all covered in blood, and her mother's dead. Now that'll do it to you. And you don't want to keep that memory, and of course it went in, but the energy work triggered that one in the heart area, and it just flooded back, full memories of that, and then all the funeral and everything about that time. And the other one, and the next day we were doing a similar action and experimenting with this in a base centre, and she burst out crying, but for a different reason. But these 2 things changed this woman's life. Another memory came back, and she was 11 or 12 years old, and she was an athlete at a private school in England, and she was exercising with her coach, and she fell and hurt herself. And her coach, who she looked up to and respected and admired, one of her teachers there, was massaging her leg, and he molested her. And the 2 things together, she clicked in her mind. And this is a lady of about 40, that she's never been able to have a relationship. She liked the company of men as friends, but she's never been able to have a relationship. It just totally did. And she realised that where it was coming from. And her whole life sort of went click, 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 and sort of realigned inside of her. Very powerful stuff. So this can happen doing energy, any type of body awareness energy work, because like deep tissue massage, with the body awareness, you are actually disturbing the substance of your energy body where these things exist. When you move, when you focus the point of your body awareness on a particular part of your body, that area becomes energetically charged, and the nerves in that area actually electrically charge up, ready to move. But as you are moving your point of awareness and not your body through there, you get this continual charging and discharging occur in the physical nerves of the body. And this is what causes the physical sensations you get, including nausea and things like that that you may experience at times from energy work. These are like growing pains you'll get because you disturb certain nerves in the stomach there, and it can cause, all kinds of things to happen inside your body. And so as you're disturbing the nerves, which can cause physical symptoms, beneath the surface of the physical body and the subtle energy templates in your subtle bodies, that bioelectrical activity is like a ripple wave moving through your body with your point of body awareness here. And that, if you touch a core image area with that body awareness here, it's like triggering it in the same way as a massage therapist or an acupuncturist may trigger it by touching a particular point. And you'll find massage therapists that do body work and that are often drawn to these areas, and they're like, without knowing it, they'll seek it out and just intuitively probe in a particular area for no reason, and bang, trigger a release. And releasing these things, of course, is extremely healthy for you and your life. I had a couple of questions handed to me this morning. Is it necessary to phrase affirmations as questions? And no, when an affirmation is phrased as a question, the term was coined a few years ago. It's called an afformation. Afformation, and there's a website, afformations.com, that explains it. And a person found a very simple thing, that if you're doing an affirmation, which has to be classically present tense, active tense, in the now. When you say an affirmation, you wouldn't say my eyesight is improving, my eyesight is getting better. You say my eyesight is perfect, as if it already were so. And this has a better effect on your higher self subconscious processes to heal your body, because your body will try and be what the inner template is. So you work on perfecting the inner template, which is basically what you believe you are, which includes what age you are, what weight you are, your physical condition, every part of your body. And so if you have a particular problem, like with your eyesight, you would say, my eyesight is perfect, my eyes are clear and sharp, I see perfectly, my vision is perfect. And if you had like cataracts on your eyes, I would suggest, you wouldn't normally mention the word cataract. It's like giving up smoking. You never mention the word smoking. But in a case like a medical condition, like you've got a cataract or a tumour in the body, I would also make statements. I do my body is healthy, my lungs are clear and perfect. But if you've got like a tumour in your lungs, for example, you wouldn't want to mention that as a part of your lungs. But, I mean, in a classical affirmation sense, you wouldn't. But what I suggest and get good results with, that you also do some affirmations that focus your body awareness on that tumour and say, this tumour is dissolving, this tumour is dying, this tumour is removing itself from my body. I don't want this tumour. Another thing with affirmations, where you bend the rules a little bit on affirmations, is when you get disturbing thought processes occurring. You get thoughts coming into your mind that you don't want, and it may just be chit-chat, reminders and that. You're trying to meditate and clear your mind, and you make a statement which is like a command, and you say, I choose not to think about that. I choose to relax my mind. And I find that is very, very helpful. And also, if you get like a negative type influences, if you go into a place that has negative energy, negative influences and spirits, sometimes you'll find your mind, for no apparent reason, becomes polluted. You'll get really negative thoughts coming into your mind and springing up there. And they might be nasty or icky or something like that. But I found an effective way, rather than just suppressing and then pushing them out of your mind, is to make a very firm command. You could do it verbally or quite silently in your mind. Say, I choose not to think about that. I reject those thoughts. I choose not to think about them. And it gives a very clear message to your higher self, because some of the affirmation work is when you phrase things present tense active, you are trying to get a message across to how you want your body to be. But you can get the impression that you're talking to a machine here, like a robot that doesn't understand, that doesn't have any intelligence. And in some cases, to do with your physical body, and that is true. But there are higher aspects, thinking aspects of your higher self, the divine aspects, which are very intelligent, communicative, and understanding. And so making statements which may not be present tense active and contains negative things like, I choose not to think about that. Don't get the impression that you're always talking to a machine. Some of it is directed at, you could say, the machine level of your higher self, but some of it is directed at your more higher functioning. So use a little bit of common sense and discretion when you're using these things. Anything to do with the physical body, treat it as if that part of your physical body is already perfect. And when you're dealing with other things, sometimes a firm command needs to be very, very descriptive rather than present tense active. And and that's very, very effective too. If you've ever had disturbing thoughts or worrying or anxious thoughts when you're trying to sleep, and it keeps you awake. I mean, we all worry about our children and things like that, and it'll keep you awake night after night. And this is one good way of helping to diffuse those sorts of thoughts that come into your mind, is to make statements that you choose not to think about them. You might say, I'll think about that tomorrow. I choose not to think about them now. And that is quite effective. Microphone.
What would you say would be an effective technique in applying this to other people in your life? Like if you have a child that tends to have a negative outlook, or a parent or a friend, and they're always, they'll start off and then they'll just go right into negativity, and you're trying to kind of balance that out. How would you recommend doing that?
You've met my ex-wife, haven't you? And her family, yeah? Okay, that's difficult. Everything else aside, using this approach here, apart from, you'll try and get them to think more positively and get them to do affirmations and that to be more positive. That can be hard going, getting it through to a lot of people, because, I can't see how that works. That's all hooey, Doing the affirmations for them yourself is a very powerful form of healing. Now, as you can perform miracles on yourself and on your life by doing the affirmations, this also applies to healing, keeping in mind what your higher self is. And your higher self, up the gradient, connects to everybody else. I'm taking on over the last year or so, a very Ho'oponopono approach. And when I give healing to somebody, I connect with them, and I reach down inside of myself to see what part of me is sick that needs healing, which is them. It's the nearest I can describe it. It's a way of connecting, because when you're giving healing to somebody, this is a part of yourself. And that realization, you have to know it to live that realization. It greatly improves your connection to that person, which as a healer you need to be very deeply connected to your patient. And you can't like shield from them or anything. You have to kind of open up. And this is why healers have to develop strength, because when you're dealing with a lot of patients and that, of course, you get a lot of people coming in with negative type problems and that one. They'll tend to contaminate your energy and that. So you've got to be pretty robust in that sense. But yeah, helping other people in a case, let's say, for example, you have a depressed or overly anxious teenager or something, or partner or something like that. Say the affirmations for them. And you would say, my partner, John, you say, John is relaxed and happy. John is, very, very positive statements. How you would like them to be, how they should be, how they want to be. You make the affirmations present tense active as if they already were. Now, keeping in mind that affirmations like this operate very, very directly with the fundamental principles of all magical systems, whether it's witchcraft, ritual magic, whatever. It all operates on the same principles. It gets a message across to the higher self, divine forces in life. It galvanizes forces in the universe to make changes. And if you, regardless, doing affirmations for another person, you connect with them, you would imagine that person, visualize them, their face in front of you, something about them, you connect to them, and then you would say the affirmations for them. John is laid back, happy, relaxed, and content. For whatever it is necessary, phrase the affirmations, positive, active tense. Also, don't be afraid of making an occasional command or direction here. If you can't phrase it in a very positive, active way, just make a direct command. And I find a direct command, you can also call it a statement, or there's another word for it, like a decree. When you're working with your higher self / source, you don't have to say a lot of please and thank you and a lot of begging and groveling and this sort of thing. I find that the nice, flowery, polite stuff with, oh, please help this person, that tends to get in the way. You're adding extra words and that to a very clear communication, and it's not necessary. It is necessary afterwards to express gratitude when you see some results. So if you're working for somebody who's very negative and depressed, and then after doing the affirmations for a while, you start to see some results in them. They come home and they're in a happy mood and relaxed. Then you do some like affirmation statements. You say, thank you. John is relaxed and happy. I love it when John is relaxed and happy. Thank you. And that is an important connection as well, because you're affirming the results of the operation that you started. And this is very powerful stuff. It absolutely works 100% of the time. As I say, there is a formula depending upon the strength of the condition you're working on. The amount of time of these silent and verbal affirmations and actions you put into that will vary, and with the variables being, of course, your negative resistance and their negative resistance. But if you're working on somebody else that may have tremendous negative resistance if they tried to do affirmations, doing affirmations for them is a neat way of getting around their personal. It's like you're bypassing them, going to a higher authority, and so that the results will come, more directly. The times, as a lot of you are healers here, I'm sure you'll understand, times where this won't work is where there is something at work in a person's life plan here. Now, if there is some important process occurring, call it a karmic life process occurring in a person's life, and they have lessons they need to learn, which may require them to suffer or to cause suffering or to go on a particular path in life, you'll find you can't heal a person like that. I find you can always help them. You can always ease the burden a bit, but sometimes you can't heal them. It's like when you connect with somebody in healing, I get say a dozen cases coming in with the same condition, and I will find 9 of them will respond fine. 3 of them won't respond at all. A little bit less pain, a little bit more positivity. They'll improve a little bit, feel a bit better, but you can't touch it. Over the years, I've learned to identify this. When I meet a person like that and I go to attune with them to give them healing, I get this. It's almost like it's no words, but there's like a silent impression comes into me, and this hand touches my shoulder, And there's a voice that says, not this one. I'm sure some of you healers have experienced that. Right, back to energy work. We're doing here. Somebody asked me today the best way to treat a neck or a spinal problem. So I'll go through that again with you. The best action to use is apart from the bouncing an energy ball up and down through the neck, and localizing your awareness there. Now do this while I'm talking about it. You don't need any preparation. Just feel where your neck is and just move a ball of energy up and down through your neck to about there and feel it moving up and down. You can do this while you're driving. It only takes a small part of your concentration to move energy through your body. You don't need to be in an altered state for it to work. Move it up and down, and while you're moving up and down through your neck, localizing your energy in that area specifically, you make a silent or verbal affirmation here, and you say, my neck is perfect, my neck is straight and healthy, my neck is strong and healthy, the vertebrae in my neck are strong and healthy, the discs in my neck are fat and healthy, my neck is strong and healthy. My neck is straight and perfect. And just go on like that for a few minutes. If you've got a neck problem, go on a lot longer. The more you do that, the more effect you'll have on it. And for more specific energy work in the neck, you... it's my pen. Oh. If you look at this as being a head... I do think my artwork's getting better. It is. Thank you. Yeah. You also would use a wrapping action around your neck as well, like you're wrapping a bandage around it like we did on the forehead. All these techniques and that are in the book with beautiful illustrations there. And but particularly effective one at working on the spine is a slicing action. Imagine you've got a disc the size of a coaster and feel that action on your neck as if you were slicing backward and forwards through the neck. Now, raising it a millimetre each time, and you carefully and thoroughly work your way up through the neck, feeling the energy slicing through, and imagining a disc. You can use colours as well. Colours will change the property of the energy you are using. And we'll start with a blue. Blue colour, like a nice electric blue or electric violet or something like that, whatever you can do. But slice the disc through the neck, feeling it going backwards and forwards, side to side through the neck, and moving it a little bit up each time. And work your way up and down through the neck and back down there. And while you are doing that, try and imagine with your body awareness the vertebrae in your neck as being perfectly formed, the nice fat discs in between it. If you look at how a neck is formed, you've got these like vertebrae here, and you've got like a disc in between them. You've got the bones here. That's a bone. And the spinal cord, of course, runs down the middle. But have a look at an anatomy book, get a feeling for what your neck looks like on the inside, a bit of knowledge so you can imagine it more strongly, and feel that moving up and down. And when you're saying my discs, and the disc is like a little bag of jelly, which keeps the vertebrae apart and keeps the nerves from being impinged upon, which have probably can cause more pain in your body than any other part of your body, a neck injury. It's like absolutely unbelievable, the pain that can cause. And just work your way. Work your way with the disc up and down and then front to back, sideways, being as far as you can to focus your attention in there and your energy while you're making the affirmations that, my neck is straight and healthy, my neck is strong and healthy. I mean, I would be dead without this. I mean, this was really, my neck is marvelous. The magnetic necklace helps too. That's another thing that really, really helps, magnets. If you have any injuries on your body, get some good rare earth magnets. Necklaces, bracelets, they've got them for any part of your body. Go to promagnet.com. It's an American company. You can get magnetic wraps and things for every part of your body, every finger and toe, whole body wraps. They are marvelous if you never use them. Particularly if you've got a neck problem, a magnetic necklace, sir, would help enormously. We were talking about this earlier. Yeah. And they're not expensive, you know, it's probably $20. I mean, yes.
Would you talk a little bit about colors? I notice in your book that most of the energy balls you refer to, and in this example, they're blue balls of energy. Would you talk a little bit about colors and moving energy?
Okay, now I'm no expert on colour healing or colour therapy. You have to draw a line somewhere in your work. I only give very basic uses of colour in there. I did attempt to write a little chapter on that, and I thought, well, I don't know enough about it. This is not authentic, so I've got to throw it out. I just can't do it. So, and I don't have time to read a dozen books on it and experiment with it. So, at the moment, and I use a basic blue colour is a nice safe colour, a nice electric or pastel blue, depending on what you're capable of visualising or imagining. Some people have problems visualising certain colours or imagining them. For example, if you're trying to imagine a high colour like electric violet, which is a very, very cleansing colour, great for spiritual cleansing. It's also a great colour for self-defense as well, for cleansing negative energies in your room. I will use that to like burn my body, my bed, the entire room, the walls and the space in between with electric violet. The slightest little problem I get around, hear a couple of knocks on the walls, a bit of a funny atmosphere, I'll burn the whole apartment. And it makes a big difference as a preventative measure. Whatever the negative influences are, often they come from people. You know, you upset somebody and they're brooding on you, and just their brooding on you, it's like negative distance healing. It's like the reverse applies. All the methods we teach here and healing methods and that have a negative side to them. Everything that you do to help people can be used to harm people. You know, in the uses of energy and intention and affirmations and that, you know, it all has a flip side. So if someone is brooding about you and could be causing you physical problems and stresses, and up to and including negative phenomena occurring around you. So these sort of things, the affirmations, the visualizations of colour and that are a big help to get rid of those. But yeah, I'm no expert on colour, so I can't really answer your questions there. I use blue is great, the white is a good colour, and next to that I use violet, or if you can't manage electric violet, come down a bit to magenta or purple. That higher spectrum of colours there is equally effective for that sort of thing, and it's great for any sort of spiritual problems. But this method here with the slicing and that, of course, continue that down for your entire spine. I mean, all the way down to your coccyx. If you've got lower back problems and that, spending a bit more time on the areas of your back that are actually hurting, and you know, side to side and backward and forwards, and do a wrapping action around the spine. Not around the stomach, but go inside the body to where your spine is and use a wrapping action and localizing a bounce action and any other actions you can think of. And using the tools like using the blowtorch we were talking about yesterday, and the color of the flame is important as well. You can change that and experiment with the color. You could use a nice cool blue or a really hot fiery red and orange color and to burn stuff away. And also using that, you would use that for burning away if you have damaged tissue in the discs and scar tissue. You would see that, imagine that falling away, and then you would use a spray gun and fill it full of water and gushing water through your spine, washing all the bits away, cooling the inflammation down, and you state the intention there, cooling the inflammation down, reducing the swelling, and all of this with the words and the affirmation combine to focus all of your body's healing in the area you're working on. And if you put the hours in, you will get miracle results. It always works. You can put the hours in. It's absolutely amazing. Yes, sir. Microphone.
all the visualizations make sense to me. The one I'm not getting a sense of is the slicing through millimeter by millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
Are you intending like slicing away any obstacles or anything that's wrong? What are we?
Okay, thank you. I'll elaborate on that. No, the intention of moving the slicing action, a disc of energy which you can form your energy hands. When you're moving or bouncing energy through your body, brushing your hands or your feet, you could say you're using your body awareness hands, which are not your physical hands. You know, you can move them up, move them inside another person and inside of yourself, independent of your physical hands. But you shape the business end of your body awareness into, let's say in this case, a disc and not a ball. And you're just moving the energy through here and focusing all of your attention on imagining as intensely as you can that disc and feeling it moving through your body. Feeling it is more important than imagining it. You may not be able to imagine it very well, but you can feel it in a tactile sense slicing through your body. Feel something flat slicing through your body. A lot of people have problems with imagination and putting it together with tactile imaging. So focus mostly on the feeling. And this is the intention here, is to get your awareness hands in there to disturb the physical body in that sense here, to like loosen up the energy body in that area, loosen up any knots and help restore the flow of energy. The affirmations and intentions I add to that. Now, you could actually create a tool, as we do with some of the other tools in there. When you first use an energy tool like the flaming torch, the golden torch in there, the blowtorch we're using here, is you first start by imagining that. You're holding it in your awareness hand and you imagine the bulb and the flame coming out and it's all golden. And you would say in your mind, this is my golden torch. You make the statement, my golden torch burns away disease. My golden torch burns away damaged areas of the body. And you program this with intentions. So good idea. You could use the same with a disc. If you have a disc of energy, this is my golden disc. This disc, frees up energy. It removes obstacles. It removes diseased tissue. And program that and then use it. Just add the intention to it, then start using it. Then you don't have to focus on that again. But that applies to all tools. Yeah, I wish I'd thought about that when I wrote the book for the other simpler actions, actually programming them. Because we program all of the tools we use. There's a big golden net you use, which can be very small for working on fingers or whole body, which you scoop up through you, a fine sieve golden net, or a sieve, like a disc with a big sieve. Okay, and use that to cleanse your body of negative energies and disease and stuff like that. We're going to take a short break now. I just got tea signs, so hold that thought. Somebody asked me in the break here, and this, how do you protect yourself from negative energies and things like that, and negative attacks and things like that, and whether you're working on yourself or working on somebody else that you think may have a problem like that. And this could come from another person who could be a powerful natural psychic who is just brooding on you. You get some people who are very hateful and they brood on you, and just like every night they sit down and get the voodoo doll out and, symbolically, and then just, strangle you. And it can really have an effect on you. But regardless of where the negative energies are coming from, the working with affirmations, your higher self / source / creator of the universe holds all the power. This is the big guns. And if you get your higher self working with you, it is, it's the ultimate power in the universe. Now, the correct way of doing this to shield yourself like that is, one, you can say, my natural shielding is perfect. My natural shielding is perfect. But also you would say, I am relaxed and happy. I'm focused and grounded. My life is happy. My natural shielding is perfect. It's like you work around it. You don't directly go to it and say, I am shielded from negative forces. You could say that, but it's like smoking. I've been working on giving up smoking for the last few weeks with affirmations. And I have a very strong smoking addiction going back to, I started smoking when I was 8. In England. And, but now, I like to use things like this and, experience the journey and find a new way of doing it. And I've been doing affirmations every day, just for a couple of minutes a day, that my lungs are pink and healthy, my lungs are strong and healthy. And I've found over the last 2 weeks, normally I wake up in the morning and the first thought that's in my mind is get up, have a pipe, the first thing in the morning. And, everything else aside, I put the coffee on and go outside and have a quick pipe and it continues from there. And that's always the first thing in my mind. But probably most days now when I wake up, for the last 2 weeks, I find I get up and I have a cup of coffee and wash my face and that. And at times an hour and a half has gone by and I think, oh, I forgot to have a pipe. I forgot. And when I didn't really need one. And it's sort of like fading away. And it's like amazing. And this is just an example of how this works. Whether you're working on reducing your weight, putting on weight, eating more healthily. I eat healthy, I love healthy food. And you'll find you'll start being attracted more to salads and green things than you are to pizza and McDonald's. And so you keep the principle in mind. Often you need to work around a subject. Now, the only way that your higher self can manifest what you want, your lungs are pink and healthy and strong, is for you to give up smoking. Now, if you say it directly, you can cause a confusion there, but smoking, I give up smoking, I don't smoke, that can be interpreted as I smoke. You can actually reinforce a condition. So work around the edges. It's a bit like affirmations. You could say, ask yourself a question, why am I a non-smoker? Why am I so good at giving up smoking? Something like that. But there's various ways of working around it. And the key is use alternatives if you get any resistance inside of here, which if you're an addicted smoker can be quite strong. You can say, I don't smoke, I'll give up smoking, and burble. Your stomach doesn't agree with that because you've got a lot of programming and many years of habits inside of you that this is what you do. But it's programming. But you can break that programming by working with your higher self. So we'll keep talking for another 5 minutes when we finish our coffees. I see a lot of you, like me, have got a coffee, and we'll do some more energy work. There's a couple of more advanced techniques I want to work on today, which I can't bring in until the third day, because it just doesn't work. Yes, microphone. Oops. It helps.
We spoke about doing the affirmations for someone else.
Yes.
What about the folks that just want you to heal them? They don't want to take ownership of their own healing process. Do we affirm that they take ownership, or do we affirm to heal them? Which would be the better approach?
Good thinking. That's a good approach here. A lot of the ways I'm using affirmation, this workshop here now is consolidating my work for the last year and a half and my life journey up to this point here. And a lot of the ideas that are coming out are great. Yes, absolutely. If you're working with somebody, and a lot of people you come across as a healer won't do anything to help themselves. I mean, it's like almost impossible to get them to go out and take a 10-minute walk each day, to do anything to help themselves. They get stuck in this programmed rut, and it's like they can't get out of it. So doing affirmations for that, you could say your patient is motivated and active. My patient is relaxed and happy. My patient exercises every day. And I think that would absolutely help them, because it's a way of focusing distance healing, you could say, which we all know works very, very well. It's a way of focusing that for a specific intent. So it fine-tunes the lens on what we actually want to happen. And say sometimes you need to work around a problem. Like, I think the same thing would apply if you were giving healing to somebody to help them give up smoking, you wouldn't say, John does not smoke, John does not like smoking. You would say, John's lungs are pink and healthy, and life will find a way to achieve that. And this works in line with, you know the old saying, you've got to be careful what you wish for? If you just try and manifest money in a very non-specific way, you say, I receive hundreds of thousands of dollars, or whatever, you're manifesting money only. The quickest way that life might bring that to you is maybe you have a car accident and, paying the insurance payout is exactly what you asked for. Now, you wouldn't want that. It's a bit of a painful way to get money. So being more specific about it helps. That fine-tunes the universal law here that's at work. You would say, I earn $100,000 this year. I earn $100,000. So you're doing it through your work, through your earnings, not through any other way. Now, I've had people who do this and they put fine print at the bottom of it. They say, I am rich and wealthy and this sort of thing, and then they put the fine print in. But this comes naturally and does not hurt anybody and this sort of thing. And all the fine print down there, and I thought to myself, well, knowing what I know of working with the higher self, it's not going to listen to the fine print, which you will tend to rattle off. It becomes like a litany. This will come to me without hurting anybody sort of thing. It's no power in the words. There's no... So, being being very specific is what life needs. And if you want to earn $100,000, you might say in the next year, you may or may not get it in the next year. But what will happen if you put the work in there, your income will start to increase towards that point. It may not happen within a year, but it will start heading that way. Because it's more specific, this is like the best that universal law can do, given what it's got to work with. In the time frame, it's not going to fit, so something has to give. Like with just manifesting money, universal law uses the car accident to bring you that money. It couldn't do it in another way because you set a time frame on it and say this is the best way to achieve that. So, if you make the statement very clear that you earn the money or receive it as a gift from somebody, or be very, very specific, then universal law will work much more specifically for you. And it's fascinating working with this. And the people I inspire to actually put the work into this, as I've been telling you all weekend here, are getting miracle results with this. It's absolutely amazing. And I love it. Oh, one over here. Yes?
I wanted to ask again, if you could reiterate what are protective mechanisms when going to sleep, silk sheets, what else? I did not quite understand about the water stuff. And
Okay, you really need to read my book, Practical Psychic Self-Defense. That lays it out very, very clearly. You'll also find a lot of stuff on my website, which is astraldynamics.com. I've got tutorials there and my latest work appearing there in articles on the light, and all the links and reference points for magnets and the sleepingearth.com and all that. And my blog, which isn't on those forms, I don't think, the flyers you were handed out here, it's blog.astraldynamics.com. That's where I play. You'll find dozens of hours of videos and audio recordings, all free to download, and articles, a few jokes, and I just have fun there. Blogging's great, and I'm doing a lot more real-life recordings and that, and using my little mini video camera and that. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, like having your own little mini TV station and sharing with people. So go there. But all those things I was talking about, the electromagnetic, running water, electromagnetic, sleeping earth and that, all help, but absolutely the affirmations as well on being protected, being perfect, being relaxed and happy. Anything, put this way, if you experience a negative effects of any kind, let's say it's making you anxious or depressed, the affirmation would be, to counter that, would be, I am relaxed and happy, I am motivated, I'm focused, I'm grounded. And helps a lot. Grounding practices as well help a lot, and they usually involve getting physically in contact with the earth, the bare earth, the grass, and doing some kind of visualization to dump excess energy out of you and normalize your system. The body awareness actions we're learning here are very powerful for that as well, added to the visualizations you already do. So instead of imagining or visualizing a cord going down into the earth or your energy flowing away, you can actually feel that happening as well, which encourages the flow of energy. Eating helps as well, as if you get a serious ungrounded problem, and a glass of wine to settle you down, anything which will reduce the heightened activity. Because sometimes when you, through energy work and meditation and spiritual practice, you can release energies inside of you, release blockages, and activate Kundalini-related energies inside of you, which can cause you to become quite loopy. You can get really manic and sort of carried away and ungrounded. And, when that becomes noticeable, you need to take action, stop everything you're doing, focus on physical life and grounding, because unless you are grounded and focused, you are ineffective. Anything you could do or learn or do to help the world is not going to work if you're not grounded. On that point, I'd like to mention quickly, if you'd like to help the planet, as I said, having positive attitudes and positive expectations, optimistic about the future of the world, helps a lot. But the best way to help the planet and the people you know is to work on yourself. Because if you work on yourself, becoming more grounded, more balanced, more focused, more inspirational, more intuitive, more powerful, you will find as you grow spiritually inside of you to become a stronger, wiser person, you'll find that spreads out like ripples in a pond and affects everybody around you. And you may have a child or a teenager in the house or a partner that has problems, and you will find instead of trying to help them with their problems, a lot of people are very resistant to that. If you focus on your problems and growing yourself, by the act of growing, your energy field becomes a very calm, smoothing, healing, grounding effect on all the people around you. And you'll find just by working on yourself and making yourself better, the people around you automatically start to heal just because of that energy around you. And that's something I've learned over the years that it really works, particularly when you're trying to help other people. Help yourself first. And if you want to help the world, help yourself. And the more people that help each other, there's like a balance of, we've got 8 or 10 billion people in the world. I think a conservative estimate's probably around 8. And my research anyway. There's some kind of a critical mass there, I think, where you need so many millions of people to think positively about the future to manifest a positive future. And all of a sudden people will start being a bit saner and nicer things start happening, and then we go forward into a nice, happy world future, which is looking a lot more hopeful now, particularly in this country. I love the energy over here now. It's really, really different till I was here a couple of months ago, and now it's like this really yummy energy over here. It's really optimistic and nice, and I love it. Hope that spreads to Australia soon. Mind you, Australia is pretty laid back, but in their laid backness, they're a bit lazy. I think they just let things happen, and it doesn't really affect me. So, right. Well, no more questions urgently. We'll get on to some more energy work. You're running out of time. Right. Just make yourself comfortable. We're just going to do a very quick prep at the moment. If you hear any subliminal messages from me saying something like you were by Robert's Q-Link, just ignore them, okay? just ignore them, you know. It's just advertising, yeah. I'm kidding.